Hello, and welcome back. Today we're tackling a topic that's often avoided, but deserves open, honest conversation: masturbation in seniors. You've heard the claims about masturbation and prostate health for seniors. But what does the latest science actually say? A urologist explores the truth. He separates fact from fiction and shares the most important things every senior man should know about aging, hormones, and healthy habits. There's a common myth circulating in men's health circles: the idea that masturbation is not only natural for older men, but that it's actually good for prostate health and can help prevent issues like prostate cancer. But is that really true? Or is it just another half-truth, repeated so often it starts to sound like fact? My name is Dr. Girag Mihai. With over 30 years of experience in men's health, I believe you deserve the real story, not just the headlines. And before we go deeper, if you value real, science-backed information about men's health, take a moment. Pause, subscribe, and tap the bell. That way, you won't miss any honest, helpful tips we share here. First, let's break down the myth. Many health blogs, and even some doctors, claim that regular ejaculation, whether through sex or masturbation, flushes the prostate and reduces cancer risk. Some studies have even suggested a possible link between more frequent ejaculation and a lower risk of certain prostate problems. But here's the truth: the science is far from settled. Yes, there are some studies showing a possible connection between ejaculation frequency and lower prostate cancer rates. But these studies do not prove causation. And most importantly, they don't account for the risks that might come with regular masturbation, especially in seniors. Aging bodies change, hormones shift, blood flow, sensitivity, and tissue strength all decline with age. What might be harmless or even beneficial in your 20s, 30s, or 40s may not be the same in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Unfortunately, the risks and negative side effects of masturbation in seniors are rarely talked about, even though they matter just as much as any possible benefits. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through why the myth about prostate health and masturbation took hold, the possible negative effects of masturbation for seniors, healthy alternatives you can consider to protect both your prostate and your overall well-being. If you care about real men's health, not just wishful thinking, watch to the end. And if this is your first time here, hit subscribe for honest, science-backed content that truly matters. Now, to see who's really watching and ready for the truth, if you're open to honest talk about men's health, type "real" in the comments. It lets us know you're here for facts, not just fads. Let's get to the core of today's topic: the potential negative side effects of masturbation for seniors. This is where things get real, and where many men, even some doctors, are reluctant to go. 1. Physical risk. As men age, their skin becomes thinner, and the tissues of the penis and prostate grow less resilient. Masturbation, especially when frequent or aggressive, can cause skin irritation and micro-tears. Older skin is more likely to become sore, raw, or even develop small tears, increasing the risk of infection. Swelling or soreness. Overstimulation can lead to lingering pain, swelling, or tenderness, which is especially troubling if you already have prostate or urinary issues. Urinary tract infections, UTIs. Seniors are already at higher risk for UTIs, and frequent masturbation without proper hygiene can introduce bacteria. 2. Impact on prostate health. While moderate ejaculation might help maintain prostate function, overdoing it can lead to prostatitis, an inflammation of the prostate. Some men develop chronic prostatitis from repeated stimulation or incomplete emptying of the gland. Pelvic pain. Persistent or excessive masturbation can cause pelvic floor muscle tension, leading to chronic pain or discomfort. 3. hormonal effects and fatigue. Masturbation triggers the release of certain hormones, including dopamine and prolactin. In seniors, this can have unintended consequences. Increased fatigue. After orgasm, prolactin rises. This can cause longer-lasting tiredness, low energy, or mood swings, especially in older men whose hormone balance is already delicate. Reduced testosterone. Frequent ejaculation may temporarily lower testosterone levels, and in seniors who already have naturally declining testosterone, this can impact muscle mass, motivation, and overall vitality. 4. Psychological and emotional effects. It's not just the body that's affected. For some seniors, masturbation can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, or depression, especially in cultures or religions where masturbation is stigmatized. Isolation. If masturbation replaces real intimacy or social connection, it can worsen loneliness, a huge problem for seniors. 5. Addiction and compulsiveness. While not everyone is at risk, some seniors may develop compulsive habits, using masturbation to cope with stress, sadness, or boredom. This can interfere with relationships or daily activities, contribute to withdrawal from social life, lead to anxiety about sexual performance or function. So is masturbation always bad for seniors? No, but the risks are real, and they are rarely discussed in the context of older adults. You deserve balanced information, not just wishful thinking or one-sided myths. Now that we've discussed the risk, let's talk about healthy habits that support both prostate health and quality of life for seniors, without relying on the myth of masturbation as a cure. If you're following this far, let us know by typing 1 in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button. Your feedback helps us reach more men who need honest health tips. 1. Focus on whole body health. Your prostate health is linked to your overall lifestyle, not just your sexual habits. Support your body by eating a nutrient-rich diet. Include fruits, vegetables, healthy fats, and lean protein. Exercising regularly. Gentle exercise like walking, stretching, and strength training keeps blood flowing and supports hormone balance. Managing stress. Practice deep breathing, meditation, or hobbies that calm your mind. 2. Nurture emotional connection. Real intimacy, whether with a partner, family, or friends, has profound benefits for seniors. Emotional closeness releases oxytocin, a hormone that boosts mood and can even support prostate health by lowering stress. If you're single, don't overlook the importance of friendships, community, and meaningful conversations. Loneliness is far more dangerous to senior health than masturbation ever was. 3. Prioritize prostate health proactively. Instead of looking to masturbation as a magic bullet, try these steps. Regular checkups. See your doctor for prostate exams, even if you feel fine. Hydration. Drink plenty of water to keep your urinary tract healthy. Kegel exercises. Strengthen your pelvic floor muscles to support urinary and sexual function. 4. When to seek help. If you notice pain, blood, swelling, changes in urinary function, or a sudden loss of interest in sexual activity, talk to your doctor. Don't let embarrassment keep you from getting help. These symptoms could signal a real medical problem that needs attention. In summary, while the myth that masturbation always protects the prostate is popular, it's not the full story, especially for seniors. The risks, both physical and emotional, are real and should be considered alongside any possible benefits. True health comes from a balanced lifestyle, open communication, and taking charge of your well-being at every age. If this video gave you something to think about, share it with a friend who might need the facts, not just the myths. If you have questions or want to suggest a future topic, leave a comment below. I rid everyone and make videos to address your real concerns. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more honest conversations about men's health, aging, and living your best life. Thank you for your trust, your time, and your commitment to taking care of yourself, inside and out.